"Hot date?" Peyton asked, leaning forward, long hair swishing over their shoulders, the soft hint of Southern in their lilt making date sound old-fashioned and dirty at the same time. "You know it." I leaned back in my chair. I wasn't about to admit I'd been working extra hours at the pizza place, trying to replace that money I'd spent on food. I'd spent hours dodging irritable parents and hyped-up kids, instead of being here at my favorite game store for the unveiling of a set I'd been looking forward to for months. Alden made a disgruntled noise. "Can we film his death reaction now?" "Sure thing." Professor Tuttle swung his handheld camera in my direction. "Die, Conrad. Make it good." On cue, I sank low in my seat, almost sliding under the table as I made noises like I was melting, like a cartoon character getting hit with acid. Elimination reactions were something that Professor Tuttle's audience always loved, almost as much as his Gamer Grandpa game analysis. Gamer Grandpa was one of the most popular Odyssey vlogs, with Professor Tuttle analyzing our in-person card play as well as matches on the wildly successful online version of the game. He made game theory accessible to the masses, and we were all regulars on his channel. Jasper did a lot of the editing for him, Peyton did some special effects, and Alden did all the winning. He had a combination of the best decks and exactly enough infuriating skill to make him darn near unbeatable. Oh, and me? I like to think I was the eye candy of the group. Or maybe the comedic relief? I brought the sort of trash-talking our viewers loved. That it never failed to rile Alden was only a bonus. And I'd take being seen as cocky over the truth, which was that I was the professor's latest charity case. A scrappy player with cheap cards, a fucked-up life, and a missing future. "Great. That'll do it for this game." Setting the handheld camera aside, Professor Tuttle bustled around, disconnecting the overhead cameras that pointed at our playmats. "They're going to want the room back soon." Jasper moved to help, collecting dice and counters and rolling mats. He worked part-time at the game store where we filmed the shows, and was the reason why we got the private playroom so often. "Arthur can wait." Peyton was one of the few people not rattled in the slightest by the store owner's gruff exterior, and they gathered their stuff slowly. "Give me a minute and I'll grab you some of the latest card packs, Conrad. I bought 2 set boxes, so I've got some to spare." Ignoring Peyton, Jasper continued to aim for Employee of the Year, wiping down the table. "Thanks, man." There was a time when I'd been one of the store's best customers, but those days were long gone. And now, even borrowing Jasper's employee discount, I could barely afford to keep playing. I should have been too proud to accept the packs, but it was probably my only shot at updating my decks. I couldn't afford to buy individual cards on the secondary market like Alden or Peyton. No, I'd be limited to whatever came in the packs. And I suppose I could get lucky, score some rares, but luck and I were hardly on speaking terms lately. "I've got some commons you can sift through, too." Alden reached for his deck bag, one of those custom deals that held a bunch of decks in their boxes securely, nothing jumbling around like my duffel, which was often where good cards went to die. "Nah, I'm sure I'll be okay with whatever Jasper can spare." I might be able to live with myself in accepting handouts from the professor and Jasper, but not Alden. I'd sooner stop playing than take his cast-offs. "Suit yourself." Alden gave a shrug of his elegant shoulders. Not broad, not bulky, not even a swimmer's lean build or the more technically accurate slight. No, the only word that worked for describing Alden's body type was elegant. Or perhaps regal if one was feeling even more fanciful, which I decidedly was not. But it was undeniable that Alden had a presence to his posture, a way of holding himself that took up far more than his share of space, and that frequently made me forget that I was technically the taller, bigger one. "Wait, before you guys head out, I've got something to share." Professor Tuttle sported a gray t-shirt that proudly proclaimed Gamer Grandpa with his Einstein-esque wild hair logo beneath it. Like Alden, he had a professional-grade deck bag, along with assorted camera and laptop cases. Checking 3 different bags, he finally came up with a thick manila envelope. "Do you know what this is?" He waved the envelope in front of us before reaching inside. Practically vibrating with excitement, he didn't wait for any of us to take